Hey everyone, Dr. Frunky here with a special unboxing video. If you know a thing or two about custom knives, you may recognize this logo as the Peter Rassenti logo. This is a very special box, first of all, because Peter just started sending his knives in this box. Before, when I received his knives, they would come in the flat rate box wrapped in some foam. So this is a nice little upgrade and I wanted to show that off. We're going to go ahead and unbox what is the very last Peter Rassenti Nirvana 2.0. This knife is special for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's special because it has meaning to me and this channel. My very first video and my very first exposure to Peter Rassenti's work was with the Spyderco Nirvana. When that knife came out, I learned about Peter and his work. He makes some amazing, very beautiful knives, and his characteristic trademark is this integral titanium handle. I'm going to move the box out of the way here. So I've owned a couple of his knives. I owned the Spyderco Nirvana. Like I said, I made a video on that. I went on to buy a full custom Nirvana, which unfortunately I lost in a rather unfortunate series of events when I was trying to go to the Statue of Liberty in New York. I stashed it somewhere and came back only to find that it was gone. So that was a pretty huge loss right there, in my opinion. And I ended up buying a Satori from Peter later on in a similar finish. But that knife was a little bit harder to carry, namely because it had a zirconium pocket clip and it just wasn't very nice to carry. So I really wanted another Nirvana. Unfortunately, he discontinued the Nirvana 2.0, which is the knife you see in front of you, a few months ago. Mid-year 2016, he said, I'm not going to make any more of these. He happened to have a few pieces laying around the shop, just enough to put one together, and he put this up on his Instagram one random day, and I managed to jump on it fast enough in order to pick it up, and I'm a very lucky guy for that. So this is the very last Nirvana 2.0 that will ever be produced. Now, that is not to be mistaken with the idea that this is the last Nirvana ever to be produced. In my discussions with Peter, he certainly has some awesome plans for the future, so stay tuned to his work and his Instagram for any new prospects that may be coming out over the next few months and years. So don't worry, if you wanted one of these, you may have an opportunity sometime in the future. In any case, this knife is quite special, but this represents the end of this sort of full-size version of the Nirvana. Speaking of size, let's get some raw numbers on this guy. It's got a 4-inch blade. It's about 8.9 inches overall, something like that. Back to the pivot, you're looking at just about 4.3 inches. The handle length is about 4.8 inches, and the grip area is coming in at about 4.6 inches right there. So not too bad. It's a full-size knife right there, but it does manage to stay rather slim in the pocket. This integral construction allows it to come in at under half an inch at 0.485 inches right there. I'm going to try not to scratch the finish. Right here, it comes in at 155 thousandths on the blade stock. So a nice thick blade stock and a nice slim handle. That's very nice. I'll bring out another couple of knives for a size comparison right here. Here's a Spyderco Paramilitary 2. So you can see that the Rassenti here is even longer than the full PM2. So not messing around here. And here's a large Inkosi from Chris Reeve Knives. So a very large knife here with the Nirvana, but it's a very elegant package overall. A couple other knives I wanted to bring out for a comparison. This is an Tony Marfione custom Anax right here, and this is a Dalibor Bergam Helios. So these are another couple of high-end knives right here that are very special because of this. They are also integral handled knives. I'm going to sit them up on their feet right here so you can see the spines. This is just a wonderful thing to me. I've actually made a video on my channel about integral handled knives. As you can see, each of these have a full spine here. There are no screws holding this together, and it's a beautiful piece of engineering and design to see this happen in a knife. Some people say that it's just a gimmick, but you know, that gimmick gets me going, and I absolutely love it. And to me, the Rassenti is the quintessential integral knife. He does it better than anyone in the industry, in my humble opinion. And the Nirvana is the quintessential Rassenti in my mind. And so I'm so thankful to have this to share with you guys. Let's break this knife down anatomically here. Up front is that gorgeous blade of CPM 154 steel. Now, in order to get this mirror washed finished, you have to go with CPM 154. It's the blade that takes the nicest, the steel that takes the nicest polish like this, and it's not going to kill Peter in order to do it. Now, he works with other steels like XHP and S90V, but he prefers to do his mirror wash in this steel, which is fine with me. This was the steel that was on my original Nirvana, and it works quite well. This has just the most beautiful polished finish. You can see how it reflects everything in the world around me, and a very light stone wash. It's so smooth as it cuts through things. That's really, really nice, and that stone wash makes it so that you're not going to make any real marks, and it will hide any small marks you might get from use. It came extremely sharp from Peter. This one is hollow ground, unlike the Spyderco version that's flat ground. That knife is a bit of an axe, to be totally honest. This one has a nice thin grind behind the edge. This is the first Nirvana where Peter used an 8-inch grinding wheel, he told me, which means that the grind is ever so slightly different than some other Nirvanas. If you look at the tip here, the top swedge does not go all the way out to the tip. The top swedge actually ends well before the tip, making a little bit of a thinner, more fragile tip, but it's a more elegant grind in my opinion, and it makes it very, very thin out there at the tip for slicing. It's a very strong blade. I'm not worried about breaking it, and this thing will definitely never see anything resembling hard enough use to break that tip off. Up here on the top of the spine, it's got some nice jimping that's very effective. It's not overly sharp, but it is quite effective at holding the thumb in place. There's a little divot out here for the thumb to sit on for some more finer tasks if you're going to choke up on the knife like this. It doesn't have a sharpening. It does have a sharpening choil, actually. It's actually done quite well. The edge of the blade back here is sharp all the way to the end. There's just a little bit of an overhang right there. I will say that that's pretty well done, in my opinion. Moving back to the pivot, this thing runs on ceramic ball bearings. It's quite smooth. My first Nirvana was a guillotine, really, when it dropped shut. This one has a bit more of a hydraulic feel to it, but as you can see, when I disengage the lock, the blade does fall nicely, freely like that. There's a zirconium pivot collar around the edge of that pivot that's very classy. It's only present on the front because it's got some larger hardware, as you can see right there. This is new hardware that he's been putting on his Satoris, so this is a nice upgrade to see on the Nirvana. It's got a very unique stop pin configuration. He molds it with his chamfers and everything, so it's a shouldered stop pin, but it's also contoured into the handle like that, and I think that's a beautiful touch. It's very, very nice. And you know you have a hardened steel stop pin to lock that blade in place nicely. Moving back to the handles here, look at this gorgeous piece of titanium. I am in love with this finish. This is a new finish that he was trying. It's some sort of media blast. What he said he did was he polished the titanium and then he did maybe a stone wash and then a media blast or something like that. It makes a very unique finish. It reminds me of the high-end Mercedes-Benz and Lamborghini concept cars that they come out with. I'm going to bring out another knife with a similar finish. This is the Anax again. This has a nice media blasted finish on the handle here, but just look at how the light reflects off of the Rassenti finish differently than this Anax. Now this is very nice, but there's just something very lustrous about this finish. It really reflects a lot of light. You can sometimes see almost a rainbow-like pattern of light refraction going on the surface, and it's really beautiful. The milling is impeccable. It's got a beautiful set of jimping back here, a hidden lanyard hole, a nice chamfer all the way around the edge. I want to show you some of the detail work here in the finger choil area where the lock bar is slightly protruding out so you can have easy disengagement. The interior here is all chamfered out for comfort. It's just very, very nice and very comfortable in the hand. And here's his logo right here. The titanium clip is easy to use and much preferred to zirconium. So I'm so excited to bring you guys this knife. I'm very happy to share this with you guys. Tell me what you think down below in the comments. I'm going to carry this knife forever. I'm never going to sell this piece. And I'll definitely bring you some update videos in the past. I have a final diagnosis on a custom Rassenti Nirvana back in my channel a little ways, so you can go check out those videos. Click like and subscribe to my YouTube channel here. Follow me on Instagram at Dr. Frunky. Follow Peter Rassenti at Peter Rassenti on Instagram. And as always, guys, take care.